Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Trader Ace here, giving you guys a quick recap on some of the trades that I took today. Um, let's get started with SPY. I broke down SPY today for our team in the pre-market stream that we had today. And what I highlighted today was that we were in a consolidation period here. And we've been consolidating since we closed yesterday. So after hours into pre-market, I noticed that we had this rectangle forming, but I came and I went to a smaller time frame at the 5 minute. And what I did was I executed my trade around here when when the buyer stepped in. I was looking at the orders on level 2, and I saw a lot of heavy buyers, a heavy ask. And so I entered my trade. I went close to, or I'm sorry, I was at the money. I entered right here, right under 426. And I held this all the way throughout the whole day. Not the whole day, but at least midday, up until the volume started to die down. And then I went over to the 30-minute. I used my 200 moving average as my resistance. I locked in profits at about 430.50, which was around here, a little bit above the 200 moving average. And the only reason that I locked it in was because our volume started to die down, and this was a key level for me to take profits. And so since we weren't holding over this 200 moving average, I just took my profit. And I did leave some money on the table, but that's fine. You know, we went to what, 432.40, something like that. So I left like about a little over 2 points on the table. It's no big deal. When that happens, and which is what I told, the traders in the room, was, to watch for a breakout above 431, which we did break out over 431, but we just couldn't hold above the highs. And then we just ended up consolidating here. And I wasn't really interested in taking any more calls on SPY, was because our volume was dying down. And then we had all this selling pressure at the end of the day. So I had a really substantial gain. I made about 102%. And I also took SPX, which is a ticker that I was talking about yesterday, that since we gapped down, we had a gap fill approaching. Now, we won't fill it all the way on the same day. Gaps fill about 80% of the time. Sometimes it'll happen, sometimes it won't. Okay, and in this case, it just didn't. We just ended up, pulling back just a little bit, and just ended up finding a bottom here on SPX. I took a trade at the open, and as you can see here, it filled the gap, and it could not hold over the highs, and it had the same pattern as SPY. So these both run one and the same. And I took my profit here at around here, because our volume started to die down in the market. And let's see, I had one contract at the money, cost me 2,500, and I took profit when it hit 5,400 for a gain of 107%. Now, again, I didn't call this out in the room because this is something that I was watching yesterday, and this just, ran way too fast. And it's also something that I'm trying, something new, a new approach to SPX that I plan to share in our August course. And it's pretty interesting. So, which is why I only bought one contract. And I only bought one because they're just really expensive, $2,500 for one call, but it paid off, right? It paid off. Just, having a small size and trying something out new, and having a nice gain. Hey, you know what? I'll take it. No big deal. Okay. So I also alerted VIX and the VXX above 3460. And we did break, my level did break, but you know what? I just didn't like, um, I didn't like the price action, and we just ended up pulling back. And this would have been a nice short. I did alert the short here under 33.26, but I was already in some other trades, so I missed it. But if you guys would have caught it, you guys could have caught a really nice short here at the rejection here when we rejected to go over 35.20. Okay, Apple is a ticker that we have been stalking for quite some time. And Trader Morano alerted this in the room. And let's see, his levels were, he alerted this around 143.80. So just around here, as soon as we broke the pre-market high. And here my 50 moving average acted as support. So I took the trade. We had a lot of volume coming in, and I took profit around 146, only because, you know, the market was slowing down, and then we also had this volume slowing down. So I just locked in my profits. It wasn't, you know, nothing too big. It was only like about, you know, 50%, which wasn't that bad. I also alerted Snow around 255, and I took it around here. We opened above this candle here at the 30-minute, and I took this trade. I didn't get out of the trade because my stop was never hit. My stop was at 254.20, and I took profit towards the end of the day at 258. I saw that we weren't holding above 258, and the volume was dying down. My indicators were telling me that we were losing momentum. So you know what? I just made this a quick day trade, and I took profit right before power hour. It did look good to swing. And if I zoom out to a bigger time frame, actually the daily looked really nice. But you know what? I didn't like this close here. Didn't have that strong of a close. But you know what? I'm definitely going to keep this on watch for tomorrow. Above the highs around 258. So we can re-enter because this looks like, you know, we can have a nice explosive move. Okay, I also alerted eBay. You know what? eBay is trading within a bear flag or within this channel. And Trader Morano was looking at this also, but he was looking at it in a different angle, and he had a totally different pattern drawn out. I was like, well, buddy. But you know what? That's the great thing about being in a group, because, you know, we all see trades in a different way. We all have, you know, a different set of eyes, and, you know, that makes things a little more unique, because we can, you know, look at trades in different angles, and, you know, take a different approach. Okay, you know, we were battling. I was telling him, no, this is a bear flag. He's saying, no, it's a bull flag. So it can be either or, as long as we break. I mean, if we can break above 70 tomorrow and hold with enough volume, we can take this to new highs. But the worst case scenario, which I mentioned in the pre-market live stream, is that we can go ahead and trade above this trend line and reject and come and trade within the channel again. So really, I don't know if it's a good idea to go naked here on eBay. What would be okay to take here is a call spread, or maybe an iron condor, or yeah, I think an iron condor would be best because we're moving sideways, or just a call spread if you guys want to, you know, trade this into earnings. just some food for thought because earnings are coming up in August. Just to keep that in mind. Let's see, what else did I alert? Cat. Cat is a ticker that I mentioned yesterday, and I've been mentioning, for the past week. I noticed that we had this gap fill here to the upside, and we filled the gap today. I held it until 208, and I had a pretty nice gain, like about 95%. And again, I took my profit because our volume was dying down and our price action was getting thin. So I didn't want to lose my gains. I just locked in my profits, and you know what? Called it a day on CAT. Let's see another trade I was looking at, EVGO. EVGO is a ticker that also Trader Morano has been looking at. And again, we have different angles. He was looking at it at the 5-minute chart, and he saw a triangle. But what I saw at the 1-hour chart was this price range here. And I took a trade as soon as we broke out of this pattern. And I took my profit right at this, right above this 200 moving average. I didn't want to risk it, holding and hoping that we would break 213, which we did break 213, after market, but I didn't want to take my chances. Our volume was relatively thin. I didn't want to bag hold, so I just took my little profit and I ran with it. But definitely on watch for tomorrow and for the rest of the week. Now let's go to, let's go to Facebook. Facebook, I alerted this, or like around 340.90. So like around here somewhere. It wasn't a big move, really. The volume was really low. So I just cut this short. I took my profits around 343 when we rejected to go over the 200 moving average. This acted as a really hard support for me. And really when we're trading between our EMAs like this, it's usually a good idea to take profit or resistance, right? So don't get greedy. Just take profits, lock them in when you can. And if you see another buying opportunity, which let's assume here, we wanted to re-enter, we would re-enter right above the high of day. And if we don't break that, then we don't take that trade, okay? That would help you protect your profits and keep you disciplined and help you avoid getting FOMO. These moving averages are really powerful, and we go into detail about this in our course, and we're going to go over some really interesting strategies in our August course and more courses to come on how these moving averages can help us, with our stop losses, with our entries or exits. How can they help us determine when to take a trade, when to not take a trade? Okay, so Facebook, let's see, Disney was brought up to my attention by one of our students, and she saw a really nice reversal coming up, and I also saw it. I really liked it above 176, so which is above this resistance level. We were holding above it, but you know what? We needed a little more volume. It was a really risky trade. I didn't make much. I took a small profit for 33%. I got out like around 177. And the only reason I got out was because our volume was low and our buyers were losing interest and we were losing momentum. So definitely something that's on watch for the rest of the week. And let's see, let's go to MS. MS, another ticker that I've been talking about since before earnings. I had it on my list, although we pulled back. I really like the pullback. I wasn't here for all this, but I did keep it on radar, and we had this really nice gap to fill, and it filled today with all this volume. As soon as we broke out, I took a call and I took profit around 93. only because we ran way too hard and our volume was dying down. And we can confirm that not only by looking at the volume, but also by looking at the price action. You know, it gets really thin compared to these, you know, thick candles here. This tells you that there's like a lot of buyer's interest. And then once we start to thin out, it just tells you that either we're consolidating or we're just losing interest, which it did because it just ended up pulling back. Okay, and I was looking at XLF also, which I mentioned in our pre-market live stream, is that I was watching this for a gap fill. And this ran a little too far, you know, too fast for me to take a trade or alert it, but just some food for thought. If you guys can't afford to trade something like MS or GS, you know, those high profile banks that are really expensive, then just look to trade the ETF, look to trade XLF. You know, if you couldn't afford to take snow, if you couldn't afford to, you know, take those calls, then you could have traded the NASDAQ, or I'm sorry, not the NASDAQ, the Q. This is something that I trade also sometimes. And you guys could have traded this move here at the 4-hour. All that would have been a nice gain, not as much as something, you know, like, you know, a return would give you on snow, but you would, you know, be able to take a trade here and lock some gains. Okay, so I believe that's about it. Those are all the trades that I'm going over. And if you guys have any questions, please let us know in the comment section or send us a DM. If not, I'll see you guys tomorrow in chat. So everybody have a good night. Thank you so much for watching this video.